Hey, this is Jimmie Tramel, pop culture writer at the Tulsa World. I'm here with James Watts, my teammate in the scene department, and we are here every week, obviously, to tell you what we're writing about in this week's Tulsa World and at tulsaworld.com. Um, let's start off with a little homegrown music. The Tulsa pop rock trio Hanson, which has a global following, fans all over the world. James, I think, came up with a really unique idea for a concert series, in that you've probably been to a concert where the group or the act or the singer plays an entire album, like the U2 Joshua Tree tour. They're going to play the Joshua Tree album. You're
Right.
with that concept, and may have even gone to a show like that. I don't know.
I'm not, I can't say that I've been to one. I know, but I know that a lot of acts have done that, going back to like the 70s when Genesis did The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. They took that on tour. That was all they played. They just played the album, and it hadn't been released yet, so everybody was a little upset because they weren't hearing the songs they wanted to hear. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, there have been several groups that have done that.
I went to a Bryan Adams Reckless anniversary show at the Hard Rock, and that was fantastic because he played the whole album, which was great. But going back to Hanson, they're going to follow up on this almost with a double feature concept. They have a brand new album, Against the World. They're going to play over a series of 8 shows through October. They're going to play material from the new album, Against the World. But the second half of those shows is going to be an album from the past. The first show, Friday night, July 2nd, will be the new album plus Middle of Nowhere, the album with Bob that kind of put them on the map. And then every show after that will have new album plus the next album in their discography chronologically. So every show will be different, and the last 2 shows will be Against the World and listener choice determined by the fans. I just think that's a really unique concept, and Taylor Hanson told me that he's not sure anyone has ever popped out a concert series quite like the one they're doing at Cain's Ballroom. Every show will be at Cain's.
Oh, okay, that's even better. No, I can't. It sounds like something that like the Flaming Lips, who are very much into experimenting. Sounds like something they're probably wishing they had thought of after they hear about it. But that sounds neat, because it will, it just show that we'll both please probably Hanson as artists, because they get to show, this is our new stuff. This is the latest venue of creativity we're producing, as well as appealing to fans who, of course, still love the things they've been doing for, Lord, how long have they been around? 30 years or more. So no, I think it's a great idea. Well, you mentioned their first single, and I can't think of that song without hearing a very well-known TV newsreader, who shall remain nameless, when the song first came out, referred to it as Eminem Bop. And I thought, oh boy.
Oh, hey, the new album has some guitar work by Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick, which sounds pretty awesome. I've heard the song, but you have some music news. Let's go to you and your music news.
Music and theater. If for those of you who remember the musical The Producers, which is a musical about people trying to put on a musical, one of the main songs in it was called I Want to Be a Producer. And if that strikes a chord in you, a couple of native Oklahomans who've been in the entertainment industry for a number of years are trying to put together a reality TV program about producing musicals. And people can invest in, they've selected 4 shows that are in development. They have, like first draft kind of things. And they range all over the place, from a kind of fantasy journey, Lord of the Rings kind of story to a tale about refugees trying to come to America, to a all-female cast satire on Shakespeare. I mean, it's a very diverse group, and people can become producers, invest in all 4 musicals for $500. And should they, you know, and if they go on to ultimately make it to Broadway, or, you know, you will still be an investor in it and will be able to make profit. Of course, you also, you know, can, you know, lose everything because, you know, as you know, investing in Broadway theater sometimes makes, you know, horse racing look like a solid, stable profession. But it's an interesting thing. The people involved are Charles Jones, who was a former print and TV journalist covering entertainment here in Oklahoma, and has for 30 some odd years produced shows for the Walt Disney Company. And Regina Dowling, who's an actress and TV presenters. They have you know, serious credits and credentials. And Kristen Chenoweth is signed up to be one of the celebrity mentors. And the show, they also want to shoot as much of the show as they can in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So it would be bringing in, you know, jobs and income to here in Oklahoma. All 3 of the people that I mentioned are graduates of Oklahoma City University, which has one of the country's best music theater programs. Yes. So we'll go into details about, you know, what the shows are and how people can get involved with this. They're about halfway to the goal they need in order to begin work on a pilot for this reality show. That will give people, you know, what does it take to put on a Broadway musical, to create a Broadway musical, what goes into casting, what goes into making the score work, that kind of a thing. So it's going to be, it has possibilities, and I hope they're able to bring it off. So we'll get more details. That should be running in the Sunday, July 4 edition.
So we can segue from Filmed in Oklahoma, which that will be, to Filmed in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma has been kind of a hotspot for filming with, you know, the FX series Reservation Dogs will premiere next month, August 9th, I believe. We all know that Martin Scorsese is filming Killers of the Flower Moon in Osage County, and a movie that was filmed kind of in spots all over Western Oklahoma was Stillwater. It's the title is Stillwater, and it stars Matt Damon. It released July 9th. I'm sorry, not July 9th, July 30th at the end of this month. So it's Stillwater season, Stillwater month. But we'll talk a little bit about Stillwater, the movie Stillwater, in our Sunday newspaper, and it'll be part of a summer movie preview saying, you know, here's not all, some of the movies you can look forward to seeing maybe through Labor Day weekend. And, you know, normally, and you know this, summer movie season is not the same as Oscar movie season. This is the time of year when people want explosions and loud noises, and comic book movies, which they'll get with Black Widow, which comes out next week. It starts phase 4 of the Marvel movies. The Suicide Squad, a second chance at the Suicide Squad franchise. This James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think Labor Day weekend we'll get Shang-Chi, a Marvel character who was born not in the 60s like these other characters we've been seeing, but a 1970s creation. Can Marvel movies, can characters created in the 1970s for Marvel have the same impact that these great characters like Spider-Man, you know, Thor, whoever else you want to say, all those guys have been busting the box office. Can Shang-Chi do it too?
Well, and I know that you're a connoisseur of the Marvel world and comic books in general. Do you think that Marvel is I know they probably have an inexhaustible supply of potential subjects to make films of, but do you think maybe there's a Marvel fatigue setting in, or is the audience appetite for these films such that, you know, just about anything they put out, people are going to want to see?
I thought that if there was ever going to, hope there's never a momentum killer, like a movie that's so bad that it sends people the other direction. And if there was ever going to be a franchise that could have been, it was Guardians of the Galaxy, because they were a success really in the comics world. They were just kind of these characters who appeared from time to time. And the fact that Marvel turned that group into a big box office success kind of leads you to believe that, you know, the opportunities are endless for any of those characters. But I still selfishly hope that there's never a movie so bad that comes along that it just ruins the momentum. And I don't think fatigue is setting in, because younger people who have never even read the source material are still big into this stuff and watching the TV series, the spinoff series like WandaVision and Soldier and Loki, which has been, I think, great on Disney Plus.
Okay. All right. Well, that's about what we've got coming up for this weekend. If you are in search of breakfast or lunch downtown, we're going to be reviewing the new Cherry Street Kitchen, which is no longer on Cherry Street, but actually just a block away from the Tulsa World building. So my colleagues that are still working downtown are very interested in this place. And we'll have a review of that running this coming Wednesday, whatever day that will be, 7th, I think. So well, I think that's what we've got covered. So speaking for Mr. Tramel, this is Jim Watts with the Tulsa World, and we will gladly see you later.
Goodbye.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.